Hey guys, today I talked with Saudi and he dropped some absolute knowledge bombs on how to make funds as an indie game developer and literally landing $30,000 contracts just like that. I'll give you a little preview and then I'll jump into the meat and bones of it.
Now, these contracts can be small sometimes. They can be $500, $1,000, right? But I land contracts that are $30,000, $40,000.
Hey guys, I'm talking with Saudi. He has been part of projects which have raised millions of dollars to make their games, but he has some special tactics on making money as an indie dev. And Saudi, you were just talking to me about how the indie, like going the traditional indie route is like a definite way of going bankrupt. Tell me a little bit about that.
Right, so if you're dealing on the indie level, right, you're making a game out of the pure passion for it normally. So then this comes with a whole bunch of issues, right? Because when you develop a game and you want to have it to be financially successful, then you start to having to make concessions on the game design that you otherwise wouldn't if you weren't trying to factor in things like that. So what it leads to is a scenario where you're pouring love into a game that isn't necessarily going to be a fantastic product. It is going to be a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. It's going to be incredible. The people who play it are probably going to idolize it and it's going to be remembered for years. However, there's like that concession to be made. If you want to have it so that it's marketable and so that it's accessible to a wider audience, so that it becomes commercially successful, then you have to start considering things that otherwise might dilute the experience. Not necessarily to a point where it ruins it, but certainly to a point whereby it can cause contention. Famous example of this is Celeste adding in their easy mode in the pause menu, right? It really, really upset some people. And rightly so, right? So those people, it was them making that concession on the game design. But
I can't stress this enough because I hear this throughout the industry all the time. Like, you know, just buckle down and do this the hard way. And how do I say this? And just admit that you're going to live below the poverty line for the rest of your life, you know? And really, a lot of devs do it that way. And I feel like the first thing you got to think about is just to say, hey, I've got to do something where I respect myself, I respect my time, and I find a way. I mean, there's always that skill building stage, or you're doing it as a hobbyist, right? Those are two things that are just, you know, part of life. But this other thing is just like, what are those other ways, I guess, that people can have their skills respected and taken to the next level?
Yeah, so one of the things I like to do is I like to chase my passion projects as well in the week. But really, what I'm also trying to do is survive. And to do that, I don't try and necessarily monetize my products. I try and monetize my skill set as a dev, right? Because like as a game dev, you are like, for all intents and purposes, a software developer like on steroids. You know what I mean? You're juggling so many different things. It's unbelievable. Like comparatively speaking, you know what I mean? Like a software dev, don't get me wrong, their job's difficult, but they're usually confined to doing 1, 2, or 3 things. Whereas a game dev starts with a minimum of 5 to 10, right? And then it just goes up from there. So some of the things that you can do in order to find ways to monetize your skill set is offer it to projects that need specific things done, right? There are a whole bunch of like freelancing opportunities available through services like Freelancer and Upwork. They're great starting points, right? But beautifully around the internet, you can actually find people who will offer paid work in areas you might not have thought. So here's the thing, right? When you're doing these jobs, it's not necessarily that you're going to go find jobs that are gonna immediately start generating you large amounts of wealth. It's more about the connections you're gonna start building through these, right?
Gotcha.
Because eventually what you're going to do is you're going to work for so many people that these people are going to have too much work for you to do, right? But critically as well, while you're going around to these places, you're not just looking for people who are asking for jobs to be done. You're looking for people who are offering to do jobs. And usually these two people cross over in the same spaces, but ever so slightly apart. They're usually a forum apart or maybe a Discord channel apart. Then what you can do is start matching up your clients that you've worked for, because you've now got an intimate knowledge of what they need with these other people who are offering their skills. And when you make these connections, you take a 10% cut, right? So you've then done no dev, you've done no dev work, but you've connected a developer with another contact who needs some development done, and you've made 10%, right? Now, these contracts can be small sometimes. They can be $500, $1,000, right? But I land contracts that are $30,000, $40,000. 10% cut of that. Do you know what I mean? And guess what? The workload there is about 15 Discord messages. It's not even 10 minutes worth of work sometimes to land 4 or 5K. But it's about building the network, and it doesn't just take time, right? It takes effort, time, and critically, you've got to go around, you've got to go talk to people, and you've got to expect something.
You know, the devs, I find my best devs, they never talk to anybody, right? You've got to go out there, you've got to market yourself, because 80% of the opportunity is not, you know, going at the bottom and doing applications one by one. And I don't know why I can't get people, like, I love to empower people, but I have like a system by which you just follow that system, you have opportunity, right? But you've got to be willing to put yourself out there a little bit, talk to some people, because if you're not talking to people, you're not getting all the opportunities out there. There's tons of demand for your skills, but there are, you know, as long as you hide in your little shell, you'll never find that demand. Hey, it's me from the edit. I'm just editing up the video, and I realized I'm talking about a system here, and I didn't give you guys a way to engage with it. If you check out this link right here and join our team, we have a marketing team, and we can just teach you. You can learn there how to market yourself as you market for us. So if that would interest you, I love to mentor people, I love to empower people. This is what I do, and so jump in. It's completely free. That's the link right there. So we have a lot of people that are hobbyists that are seeking to do a really particular thing, but if you're looking to monetize your skills, talk to people. Just start talking to people, and please do not send them a 900-word message. Like go to join a random Discord and send them a 900-word message with your portfolio links and whatever. Nobody reads that. Go build some relationships, you know? Sandy, I wanted to pick your brain on one thing you told me a while back, which is that you told me that there was a way to go, like, you make a small game and you sell it to like a website or something like that?
Right, yes. So that's a nice way of getting some money and a little bit of passive income as well. Yep. You can, in the past, there used to be this notion of Flash games, and those things are gone now. Flash is long since defunct. The games are still around, but you can't play them anymore. Yep. There are emulators for them, but those things are hit and miss whether they'll work. Not all of them do work, and it's not a great way to experience them. So what happened was there used to be huge websites that housed these, and they would make absolute tons of money off of the ad revenue coming through, because you'd have all of the like school kids, all the like casual gamers just flowing through these sites, thousands, tens of thousands, millions at a time, right? So what happens now is these sites are still around, but they require games that are HTML5 now. So in order to get these HTML5 games made, they need devs who can come in and make simple casual games on the order of Flash games. So you can go and find sites like Cool Math Games, Armor Games, Crazy Games, you know, tons. You can just Google around and find them. And a lot of these sites, they will pay you a non-exclusive license fee in order to buy the game off of you, right? And that's non-exclusive. So you've sold it to one site, you can go sell it to another. Now that's the case for some of them. A lot of them, though, will allow you to embed your own ads into the game and self-monetize through their platform, right? Gotcha. And obviously at this point in time, like, you know, you can drop in a few ads. Your game might wind up getting, like, maybe, if you're lucky, $100 in that over the course of its, like, relatively short lifetime. After it's gone live, it's about 1 to 2 weeks, maybe a month of actual, you know, interaction you get, unless you're going in and updating it. So it's up to you. Like, I like to just make them, fire and forget. Some people like to make them and then make sequels to them, you know what I mean? That can be quite effective. And other people like to make one and continuously update it. And to be honest, you know, there's no one strategy kind of just works, but you can take a hybrid approach. It's fun to explore. But yeah, it's a really exciting thing, because these games are really simple. They take approximately 2 to 4 days to develop if you're good. If you're slightly less than that, if you're at like a moderate level, it might take 1 to 2 weeks. But honestly, you can probably get I get $1,000 consistently out of each little game I make, right? So, but I have all the contacts set up, and I know where to go. I know exactly how to integrate the APIs, and I know exactly what games they're after, right? So it's hit or miss. If you don't know all of those things, you might be lucky to get like $200 to $400 every time you make one of these. But that can be a lot of money to some people, right?
By the way, guys, Soundy is a really helpful, awesome guy, and if you want to pop in our Discord and send him a message and you build games, I'm sure he's happy to help out. I hope this video doesn't go super viral and leave you 1,000 messages. Is that okay that I say that, Soundy?
Yeah. I'm talking to people is what I do, man. I love it.
Yeah. And really, I think it's fair to say Soundy is not an exceptional dev, but what he does do is he loves talking with people, and that lands him all kinds of gigs. And so if you need connections, jump in the Discord and start talking to people. Talking to people is the key. I have so many people that just don't talk to people. Don't just do your thing. Talk with people, find where the demand is. I'll tell you a couple of things that I did. So basically, you know, I started on Wildlands and I had no idea about making games. I just brought together people, and you know, Wildlands needed it. Look for places that need you, right? That need people like you. Some of these, I'm not a big fan of crypto or NFTs, but some of these projects are like desperate for people to make games for their thing. And that's just an example. I'm not suggesting you go to any of them, but that's just an example. Find places that are desperate for people that make stuff, and you should even start in those places. Like starting in places and learning in such places is always helpful. There are educational websites that need people to make educational games and help them monetize. There are all kinds of things, so just go there. Core games, look it up. That might be a good starting place because there's a lot of community if you're really like at a lower level learning. So anyway, we're rooting for you guys, and if you're interested to learn more about what we do, you can check out the Discord there. We are hobbyists making games for the heck of it. Not a lot of us are in it for the funds. We're doing it just for the fun of it or building our skills. You can join us there at the link up there, and I'll leave you the next video. This is on why AI is going to take over this whole space and how you need to be ready. Go ahead and check out that link in the middle of the screen right now.